Started.
Gangster, gangster, gangster. All right, people, we're back with episode 4 of the Primetime Podcast. We've got the chip tier list coming out tonight. We're going to be yapping about football and previewing Thursday night football. Drake May will be starting for the Patriots starting next week. So we're going to be yapping about that and whatever else comes to mind. I'm sipping an IPA, vibing, having a grand old time. How you feeling, Full White?
I feel fantastic, man. I feel ready to rumble. Although I'm ready to talk about these big headlines, these massive, huge headlines, and for some people, a huge bet just cashed. Some people not being me, but I know someone in the industry who had, somebody who's a loyal friend of mine had an interesting bet placed on who the first head coach was to be fired, and guess who just got it cashed?
Oh man, who was it?
Oh, one of my buddies from Rochester.
Oh
Bet Robert Saleh would
dang.
be the first head coach to be fired, and made a small little bag of that.
You can bet on that?
Yeah, you can bet on anything.
How do you do it?
I don't know. It's just betting odds. It'd be like, hey, who do you think the first head coach is going to be fired? And it's like, this guy.
Dang. What a cobra. What a coberson. Now say it one more time. Who is this head coach that got fired?
Oh, Robert Saleh, that guy.
Robert Saleh just got fired?
He got fired this morning. I thought you knew.
I didn't hear about this. I mean, I'm glad because this dude was honestly, bro. I was only like half listening because like right after I started the podcast, I realized that we still had the stream description from Sunday. But oh my god, let's go! That's huge news because this guy, he has been saying for years now after every bad loss, it's like we just got to be better. Blah 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 blah. I'm Robert Saleh. I'm really ashamed of the product that I'm putting out, and it needs to be better. And like, dude, you're more of a cheerleader than anything. So let's go. Now, is there a rumor of who? I can't believe I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, this morning.
Is there any report of who's gonna fill in for him?
So interim head coach is going to be the defensive coordinator, Greg Ulrich. Defensive coordinator. Greg Ulrich.
Oh, okay, Ulbrich, right?
Ulbrich. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of him. I'm glad it's him and not Hackett. If it was Hackett, it would be more the same or worse.
Yeah, I don't know what. I don't know. That would be awful. I heard that actually his job was he was gonna get fired before Saleh did. That there were rumors that they were gonna try to fire Hackett.
Really?
And not Saleh.
Ulbrich is the only one on that head coaching front. You know, the OC, the DC, and the head coach that I really liked. Ulbrich was the only one.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like it doesn't make that much sense. Not after a loss to the 4-0 Vikings. Like, if it was if it was last week against Denver, that would have made a little more sense. But I don't think it's all on Saleh. I think there's a lot of other pieces you have to blame here. You can't just. I think he's just being the scapegoat right now.
It's not like we're about to go out and win 11 straight, or 12 straight. But dude, we've looked terrible since, and like you said, football organizations are massive. Obviously, it's not all Saleh, but come on, this guy, we have had this guy for years, and he has just been cheeks. We have been stagnant. A stat that I saw was through 5 games this year, we were 2-3 with I think 93 points. Guess what those stats were a year ago?
They were the exact same.
2-3, 93 points. So I'm glad we got rid of this guy. You know, I don't know what he was bringing to the organization. It's time for a change. It's like, at this point, the team had fully plateaued, and there wasn't a lot of upward movement in that plateau. It was just stagnation. I think that's the end of my thought. It's like the Squidward and the gated community syndrome, man. It's like you have
in the gated community syndrome.
You have these same guys the same things, the same game plan, and it's not getting any better. It was time for a change. I'm happy with the move.
I think there's a lot more to that. First of all, you're not. I don't think. So my understanding, number one, is the Jets believe they can salvage this season, which is why they were kind of okay firing Robert Saleh. Now you go in, but I don't see where it was all on him. I felt he, of anything, he still had responsibility for them losing. But their defense was not great before he got there. He comes in and is actually able to build up and draft a good defense. They've drafted good defensive players. They built up a solid defensive unit. I think it's more of the fact that it's an impulsive owner who wants to immediately start winning, who brought in Aaron Rodgers and then just basically made an entire comfort situation, signing Alan Lazard, Randall Cobb, bringing in Hackett. They were even like they tried to bring in Bakhtiari. Now they're gonna. I don't know if they're gonna land him, but there's a chance they're definitely gonna make offers for Devonte Adams.
Oh yeah, it's
It's not gonna
definitely
change anything though.
it's definitely it goes so much deeper than Salah. Yeah, like the move to create this comfort situation for Rodgers was horrible, but it's getting rid of Salah is still a net positive. Like you this guy has been here for years, man. He put together a nice defense. But okay, like this team was expecting to be better than 2-3 through 5 weeks. And it's not like this guy's resume before that was blank. Like he hasn't come through for us over like when was the last time the Jets were hot
Been
in the solid era?
hot.
Yeah.
I
Like
mean, they were 1.6-4. They were 1.6-4 in his second year of coach, and then the Jets could you had Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson just wasn't very good.
wasn't. Yeah. Also I miss Zach at this point. The optimism
Get
the optimism and the excitement among Jets fans was unmatched with Zach Wilson. I mean that's kind of satire when I say I want Zach Wilson back. But dude, we're 2-3.
That's
2-3 with Aaron Rodgers is so much more depressing than 2-3 with Zach Wilson.
Yeah, but I agree. It's still not viable though. Like it's still bad. Like they were bad regardless. Like I don't see where a world where Salah gets fired before Hackett. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
hate to be that guy, but Robert Saleh at the very least, there are some coaches in this league that have yet to show anything on either side of the ball. At least Saleh had the defense right. Like the defense gave them every position to win that game offensively, and yet the idea that this Nathaniel Hackett led offensive team was I don't understand. Like Hackett's going to keep his job now. I don't see the offense improving at all under Greg Olbrich. I don't understand it in that sense. I would have moved off Hackett first and brought in someone else to
True.
try to move up the offense before moving off Salah. Like it's not even if you went into this game before like after week 1 or week 2, you could have probably said, yeah, Minnesota will probably win this game. And in fact, they played pretty well against Sam Darnold. They're one of the only defenses to actually have stopped him all year. Now, granted, Aaron Jones left the game early. I think Sam took a hit that really rattled him in similar vein to the way Josh Allen got hit. But it can't. I don't think this solves any of the Jets' current issues right now. And the idea that they can save the season by firing Saleh doesn't ring true with me at all,
That's true.
based on what they're saying.
I think getting rid of Salah it was a long time coming, and it's definitely not a win now move. And I agree with you. I think I mean I'm not a fan of Salah, but I'm also not a fan of Hackett. I used to love Robert Salah, man, but it's just like he's a great speaker. He puts on a great impression. He's kind of like David Fizdale. Then you find out this guy's a used car salesman. The like Nathaniel Hackett, I think the reason he didn't get fired was because Aaron Rodgers, man. It ties back to the comfort situation. What's happening in the organization right now is a disaster. It's reminiscent of the dark ages in the Knicks. Like it's rough stuff.
It's not great. I
That's,
mean,
that's all I gotta say about that. I think. Like Hackett,
Yeah.
Hackett is this so-called offensive guru, right? And can't do anything with it.
I still
Dude,
just can't get over that they fired him. They fired him this game though. Like against a
it
4-0
doesn't
Vikings.
matter what game it was,
It
man.
kind of does. It kind of does because if it was like an 0-4 team, yeah, definitely needs to be canned. But this was a winnable game against a 4-0 Vikings team. Like you still had a shot at the end, and you can't put again. Rodgers is the one who went out there and just threw 3 picks. There's a stat. Rodgers took till game 5 to have a game with 3 interceptions. Zach Wilson only had 1 all of last season. So the offense doesn't look to have changed at all. I understand that Saleh has to take some responsibility for that, but he's not an offensive head coach to begin with. So if he's got his side of the ball correct, and it already looked from the sideline that Robert Saleh and Aaron Rodgers just don't get along. So as much as this may have been a move that sure the Jets can benefit from, it also feels like it's still something to try to keep Rodgers as comfortable as possible.
Yeah, right? Like, Aaron Rodgers has proven already that he's not going to win you a Super Bowl, let alone get you to the playoffs. I don't understand the constant catering to Aaron Rodgers. It's really annoying. It's why I joke about saying I want Zach Wilson back. Like, it's freaking ridiculous, man. Like, we're the New York Aaron Rodgers right now, and it is pretty gross. I'm not a fan. Not a fan at all.
I mean, but it's similar to Cleveland, right? Because Cleveland made a decision. It's not as bad, but it is similar to the sense where you commit to this quarterback. At this point, you kind of have to go through with it because when you talk about a position that's so important for the team's success, if you're not fully in on the decision that with your quarterback, then what are you doing? You have to continue to look to put this player in a position to succeed, even if it might not be, the most ideal scenario.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think it's ridiculous. I think the Jets, I'm going to be watching them. I'm going to be rooting for them. I'm still going to be picking them against the Bills this Sunday, but it's ridiculous. It's horrible, man. But Phil, how about Lamar Jackson, huh? How about Lamar Jackson?
Gosh, Lamar Jackson, you go, man, really wanting to get away from the Jets right now, huh?
Yeah, man, we've talked enough about the Jets, man. I think we've nailed that perspective into the metaphorical plank of wood. Dude, I just want to say, oh wait, we tied on picks this week, didn't we?
Yeah, you didn't beat.
Damn it.
This isn't even the right graphic. We're both 7-7.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, okay, yeah. This is last week's pick graphic, but
Yeah.
so Phil, and Diamond and I, we have this bet where whoever has the lowest pick percentage by the end of the year has to pay for the other two's dinner and drinks for a night when we all go out, and you can see before this past Sunday was sitting at 53%, shot 50%. Philip White also shot 50% this week. But how about Lamar Jackson? That was one of the games we differed on. You didn't like the coaching in that game, right?
I like the coaching from the Bengals' perspective. We can get into that, but Lamar Jackson played incredible, and I always knew that he was like a decent passer. I always underrate him because every time he plays Pittsburgh, he's cheeks, which is it's just mostly a fact. Like every time he's played Pittsburgh, he kind of struggles, but that's just a matchup thing. But overall, against pretty much the rest of the league, he is a unique weapon. I think people, personally me, I need to stop doing this and stop underrating him. He has incredible ability to throw the ball, his ability to. I mean, the play where he throws the kind of across his body touchdown to Isaiah Likely, he stiff armed. I think
awesome.
It was Sam Hubbard twice in a row. Like it's not the first time he's done that too. He is quietly very big, little strong considering that he's I mean, obviously everyone in the NFL has to be strong to some extent, but just being able to stiff
in the
arm
scope
guys-
of the NFL, yes, being able to stiff arm an NFL player, that's crazy. But yeah, dude, that play. That might be the best Lamar Jackson play I've seen. That was freaking awesome. But
It was really good. I don't know if it trumps his run, his first MVP year. Although I'd say right now, what bothers me is that just people are like, oh, he's a two-time MVP, and I'm like, like I'll give him 1.5, because I really like that
last
MVP there.
year, no.
He looks more like an MVP this year.
I was
I
gonna
would
say
say.
the same thing. He looks better than he did a year ago this year. And what are we gonna do? Give it to him again? This is why you have to get the freaking MVP award right. Should have given it to McCaffrey a year ago.
Right, 100%. But that was, I mean, that whole game that was probably one of the games of the year. As great as Lamar Jackson played, I have a massive gripe with the way the Cincinnati Bengals handled that overtime, that those plays going up to that field.
I don't think it was bad because all right.
I do.
Let's paint the picture. Let's paint the picture, okay? So, all right, let's actually just a little context for just how great of a game Lamar Jackson played. When he had that awesome play where he stiff-armed the guy and was on the run outside the pocket on the right sideline, he throws it to Likely. They were down 10, and that put them down 3, correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. And then they must have kicked a field goal. And there was only like 5 minutes left when they scored that touchdown. Like, the game was looking out of reach. For some context with the picks, picked the Ravens, and Phil picked the Bengals. So, I was freaking sweating. And, dude, just... then you get into that overtime period. Ravens start off with the ball. Bad snap. Lamar does not get the ball. Bengals pick it up. Then, Phil, this is where your gripes come in.
So, okay, Lamar fumbles this ball, right? And this is like your moment where you say, okay, we can get a field goal to win the game. Right now, from where they were at a 1st and 10, it is a 56-yard field goal attempt. Now, I know kickers are kicking field goals out of nowhere, but if kickers are kicking long field goals these days, 50 plus, even like in the high 40s, is still no gimme kick, right? So if you miss this kick, you immediately give the Ravens the ball back in good field position to just put it with the leg of Justin Tucker, who has struggled to start
McPherson,
here.
right?
No, I'm talking about if you give the ball back to Baltimore. If you give the ball back to Baltimore has Tucker, they would nail a 58-yarder probably easily. He struggled this year, so maybe that's not the case. But you cannot sit there and just run the ball 3 times in a row. They got 0 yards, 3 yards, and 0 yards. And in a game where I understand they turned it over, which is why Baltimore was able to tie the game in the first place. I think Burrow tried to get it to Chase, and Marlon Humphrey made a play on the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But in a position where you can't have that. Like, you can't have that situation where you just run the ball 3 times and don't even attempt a screen pass or a quick short pass to get more yards for your field goal kicker. And due to a bad snap, your kicker missed the field goal. Like, you have to play to get in the best position possible. That to me just made it feel like they thought they had the game, and
you have Evan McPherson, this clutch kicker. I don't hate it. I do think it was overly conservative. Obviously, the Bengals hate it. Now, hindsight's 20/20, but man, you don't want to turn the ball over. They were playing to win the game. And
yeah, but that doesn't work there, because I think you have to play to your strength, especially what you were doing the whole game.
They did have Joe Burrow throwing for 500 yards.
400 yards. You put up 38 points. Jamar Chase dominated. Your run game was not very good. Why are you resorting to that? Like, at the very least, screen pass, bubble screen, get something simple. It's a completion where you have space to go. Baltimore knows you're going to try to run the ball. I just didn't understand that, and I don't think you can just say, oh, well, we have a great kicker.
I don't think Baltimore knew they were trying to run the ball, man. You had Joe Burrow that was slinging it the whole game.
Then, well, yeah, but you still think that in that situation, you need to be able to throw the ball there. Then why, if that's the case, you still play to your strength. They haven't stopped the pass all game except for the last drive. Why are you getting rattled because of the one pick that you threw? Like, I don't think you need to be. The rest of the game says otherwise. The passing there would have worked.
I don't know, man. I think I just don't hate it. I think I would have maybe thrown on 3rd down. But also, you could have run that screen pass to Jamar Chase. But yeah, that's it's not what happened.
I didn't get
Evan
it.
McPherson, Phil?
It was so bad.
Can you look up that stat with Evan McPherson clutch kicks? Because he does. I mean, you think about the position the Bengals are in before you can't foresee the Evan McPherson chokes this kick. They would always pull it up before Evan McPherson would hit his clutch kicks like he always did before this past game. This guy was a freaking...
I don't know if he always did. Let's relax on that. He has not always been clutch.
He was the clutchest in the league.
Oh my, no way. Where's this statistic?
Throw me a stat. Who's more
right
clutch
now.
in his time?
Are you kidding?
No.
Of
repeatedly in this time. In the time that Evan McPherson has entered the league, who has hit more clutch kicks than him?
I'd say Tucker, I would say Fairbairn, and I'd say Young Hui Koo. Are just better overall kickers and more clutch.
See
Young Hui Koo on Thursday night?
Oh, he hit one.
Or the week before?
He hit one game. Hitting one game winner doesn't make you more clutch.
How many
than
game winners? How many game winners does he hit? Why don't you bring that up? Bring up the stat.
I have my setup very carefully. I need you to look it up because if I pull up something, it'll make the whole display go out of whack.
But I mean, it doesn't matter which game winning of a kick he is. You still put your kicker in a better position to make a field goal. Like, that's the whole point.
Yeah, they could have thrown a screen to Jamar Chase. A screen to Jamar Chase could have been inserted into the
3 straight
into the game
runs.
plan.
Like that was awful. I mean,
I think mind 3 straight runs though.
Ross went down. At a 56-yard kick. Like, that's not a guaranteed kick. You would know. Last week Zerline missed a 50-yarder for the Jets to win the game against Denver. So it's clearly not a gimme kick. So why are you just being incredibly conservative? I mean, at the very least, say if maybe you turn it over, it's not the worst thing in the world. You still have a chance to stop them on the next possession. Like, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's not a guaranteed kick.
True. It's not like they're, yeah. Yeah, you've convinced me, Philip White. It was pretty dumb of them to...
And you wouldn't have been able to... Again, the fact that you even were able to force Lamar Jackson to turn it over there was... Like, basically, they just fumbled the snap. Like, that could have been... That was disaster for Baltimore, and... you know what? I guess... Whatever. I guess it's just ball don't lie, but that was...
Ball don't lie.
That was a That was not... I would not have... Like, especially at 1-3. You need to win that game to not fall to 1-4, and you don't try to yank it easier for your kicker.
You're 1-3, and you're gonna be that much of a pussy. Pardon my French. Family show.
Watch it, man. Jeez.
My bad.
Watch it, bro.
Sorry. But like you're 1-3, and you're gonna be that conservative. That was what I would say. Let me look. Yeah, you've convinced me. Last night I was kind of egging you on, and I really did believe that the Bengals play calling was just fine. But yeah, like, come on. It's not like you get to fall to 3-2 if you lose this game. You're 1-4 now. You have to put on a nice little win streak to get yourself in playoff discussions now. It's pretty redonk.
It's yeah, I thought it was bad. I didn't like it, and that wasn't the only bad coaching decision of the week. I mean, there was Buffalo to talk about. If Cincinnati was bad, Buffalo's was atrocious.
Oh yeah, dude, Buffalo's was really bad. Getting that, I mean, being lucky enough to get the ball back down 3. You're just happy to be inside your 5. It's unfortunate. How much time was left when they got that ball back? Like
21 seconds.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize it was that little time. Yeah.
I think that's how much it was.
21 seconds.
Oh, no, they had the ball with 32 seconds. They burned down 12 seconds. Yeah, they're at their own 3-yard line. Yeah. Not to mention, the first play, Keon Coleman already commits offensive pass interference.
Yeah, like worsening it even more.
Since the goal line.
Not a massive. That's not a massive one. I mean, like it's whatever. But was the pass even complete on that play? I mean,
no.
Just weird. Yeah, exactly. What do you get backed up 2 more yards? Sucks. You you got to work with what you got. Still first down. Still first down. My problem is they were on some Brandon Staley stuff with the play calling, man. Like, why are you throwing so far beyond the first down marker? Make them burn timeouts at the least. It's like the reverse of what the Bengals were doing wrong. Run it. Do some slants. Do a wide receiver screen. Do a little RPO. Come on.
Yeah, going into that game, I mean, and again, Josh Allen was already had that hit earlier in the game where he hit his head against the turf, and he didn't even have a good game even at that point. So didn't play much better after that. And now, but in that position, and I think what their argument was, it doesn't matter because even if they run it and get all 3 timeouts, they still can get out of bounds and kick a field goal. Balderdash. Absolute balderdash. I think that would be the only explanation you could possibly muster, and it's bad. It's because even if you run the ball and they use all 3 timeouts, when you punt to them, they have no timeouts, meaning all you need to do, play the sideline, you go to overtime. That's it. There would have been 7 seconds left. You play the sideline, you take the game to overtime, you hope you win the toss, and you drive down and get the touchdown.
Yeah.
But you don't go into that game thinking we're just going to take 3 deep shots. Like, someone's down there, and frankly, there's no one down there. Because as much as I like Keon Coleman, and I hope, he had a nice touchdown last week, but that was his only catch of the day. Josh Allen, I think, was atrocious. I mean, he had, I think, a total of, was it 9 completions? I mean...
Yeah, that was the lowest completion percentage of his entire career. It was like 9 for 24 or something.
9 of 30 at the end. Like,
oh my God.
So 9 of 30. Do you know what this means? It just means you need a wide receiver. Like, I think the Bills are going to start pressing hard for Davante Adams, and
that'd be fun.
I mean, I think they need to. It's not ideal because you're basically trading a vet receiver in Stephon Diggs and bringing in for a vet receiver like Davante, but their receiving core is not good. I know Khalil here. Yeah, it lacks A, depth, and B, lacks a clear number 1. I mean, out of all the number 1 wide receivers, I don't think Keon Coleman's up there in the top 5, 6 of the league in being a number 1 wide receiver. And one last thing on the Texans side, though, I did like the way.
Wait, one thing I'll add before we get into the Texans is I still didn't expect Josh Allen to do this bad without a receiver like Stephon Diggs. Like, what the heck is up, man? 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row, every leg on my parlay hits, except for Josh Allen rushing touchdown. That used to be a given. Come on, when is he going to lock in? When is he going to figure it out? I guess maybe Davante's the answer, but I don't know. I want to see him do better.
I don't think Davante's the answer. I think it's just something that they need. They need to find some sort of receiver production. I mean, you don't have to trade for Davante necessarily. There are probably some other wide receivers that might be available to, at the very least, give you some more depth, give you another target to pass to. But it was bad. It was bad against Houston. And I mean, that game could have been much worse. They were down 20-3 at one point. The fact that game was even close was shocking as well. And looking at Houston, I mean, I think the only reason it was because Nico Collins ended up leaving the injury. But even with that, Stephon Diggs stepped up, showed he can be a wide receiver 1 if need be, and they mostly did everything they needed to do. There was some close moments there for Houston, but they came out with the dub, and they have 4-1 right now. They're looking pretty good.
Texans finally, I feel like the Texans convinced me that they were for real again with this win.
Yeah.
Another thing I'll add, dude, Stephon Diggs seems like the worst rival to have.
Yeah, kind
of. Imagine being Josh Allen right now. Oh God, I would not be able to wait to play the Texans again, but at the same time, I would be kind of dreading it. God, dude, like this guy, like I don't know any of the nitty gritty, but those guys clearly don't get along. Like you had Stephon Diggs yelling at Josh Allen and whoever else on that offense, like consistent as a Madden animation after every drive a year ago. and then you come visit him. You're supposed to be the better team. I mean, actually, I don't know. Two really good teams. The Texans are deeper, I think, but you're Josh Allen. You're this massive talent. Just gotta suck.
Yes.
You gotta be yearning for revenge right now. Stephon Diggs is feeling like the guy. He's probably as obnoxious as me when I'm playing against Philip White in video games.
Yeah, you pretty annoying.
Yeah, and Stephon Diggs, I feel like the only problem is Stephon Diggs is actually like, I don't know, like you could tell with them. Like I said earlier, there's something. They actually genuinely are enemies. Like,
There's the meme of him giving the side eye when he daps up Josh Allen.
oh yeah. Let me
That
see
way he
if
goes.
Well, earlier when I was talking about McPherson, I realized that I can actually move this. I don't know why I said I couldn't. Yeah, Stephon Diggs side eye. Sometimes my mouse goes away. There we go. Stephon Diggs side eye Josh Allen. Why did my mouse go away? Give me my mouse back. There we go.
Imagine not being able to locate me. Yep, there it is.
This guy.
There it is.
Oh shit!
Look
That
at
didn't
that.
do what I wanted it to.
Just
Man,
he just looks. Also, side note: Houston Texans unis were kind of cool looking today.
I didn't know how to
They
feel
look-
about it.
It was like the first time their logo was different, so at least that was all right.
I did like the
Oh,
touch
I-
of H-Town on the instead of Houston. Like you can see it kind of at below the NFL logo on his chest. I would like it as a. I feel like on a football field it looks goofy, but I would love to wear a jersey like that because I feel like that jersey with like a pair of light wash jeans and like just some crazy ass sneakers.
Yeah.
Pardon my French family show. My bad.
Watch it. Watch it.
No.
Strike two. Strike two.
Philip White's gonna ban me if I swear again, guys. But yeah, I feel like those jerseys. I didn't know how to feel about them when I was watching the game. I was talking about it with my mom. But yeah, I would love to wear that jersey. Yeah,
They feel
I
like
think they were cool.
an NBA City edition. Like what was it?
Dude.
The
Oh,
yeah, they
speaking
kind
of that. When do?
Oh,
Wait, say what you were gonna say. I'm just gonna Google when NBA
no,
City
that was like
editions drop.
that was the whole like that look. That's what I felt like. That looked pretty cool overall. I wish there were more of those. I don't want to see it like every game because then like I'll get bored of it. But like remember when like they had Color Rush?
Yeah,
Like that was almost good, but the problem is like more than half of them sucked. That was the one big problem. Is that
they were bad.
they were like really like I think the Jaguars one before they had like I think like yeah it just looked awful.
Dude, the
That was like
City
mustard
edition.
color.
The City editions came out today. Look at that.
Did they?
I think
Well, that's
so.
AI. That's AI. That's AI. So we gotta be
this is
because I
23.
sometimes read that. I'm like, dude, that's not what I asked.
Yeah, I think it's actually wrong because you go to the top and on NBA.com the top one is last year's. But yeah, with the NFL, I want to see more I want to see more fun jerseys because like it is kind of weird how they're oddly inconsistent with like which teams get this amount of jerseys, right? With the NBA, it's like every team has 5 or 6 jerseys, and in the NFL, it's like nobody else is wearing their alternate uniform or anything, and you just got Houston popping out in this crazy uniform that like wasn't a formal release or anything. And it's
Yeah, I don't even remember. Yeah, I didn't see anything about them releasing this. Like I found out about it the day before the day of, and I was like, oh, well, how intriguing.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the NFL is all about money, right? If you told people about this before the season started, like the NBA does, oh my God, people would totally buy this. Like, I like to look at cool clothes and most of the time think about buying them rather than actually buy them, but like I would rock that. I would wear that jersey. It's pretty neat.
It is a nice looking jersey. I'll give it that.
Hmm.
I'll give it that. That's all I gotta say on that.
All right, NBA City Edition jerseys, 2025 or 2024, I guess. 2024-25 release date. Oh, they don't come out until November 14th. Oh, the Lakers released theirs though. Fire.
I did see
you
that.
like it?
It's okay. It's like I think it's really hard to screw up a Lakers City jersey, just because the purple and gold just go so well together. I like it. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. I don't know. I guess it's just if it's the first, if it's the only one that's been out, then I have nothing to really compare it to in terms of what I think's better or worse. So,
Yeah.
but it looks. I wouldn't wear it, but I can see the appeal.
Yeah, I wouldn't wear it either, but I like it. I just love how the NBA always brings some new cool jerseys. I love the jerseys.
Bring some pizzazz.
They do bring the pizzazz. The I remember dude, I've got to get a Jalen Brunson jersey. Like that dude's just such an inspiration, honestly.
I refuse to get a KD jersey of him in Phoenix. I'm not doing it.
I don't blame you at all for your indifference or reluctance to fill yourself in as a Suns fan right now because, geez, it's bad.
It's not. It's not great. I the only jersey I have of a player that's still there is D-Book, and like I had Chris Paul, nope. Chris Paul, nope. Mikal Bridges, nope.
Nope.
DeAndre Ayton, nope.
Nope. Dang.
All gone. So,
Yeah.
oh god.
And the Suns aren't even like competitive despite the fact they have KD. It really sucks.
They love getting to the playoffs and then just, looking
losing.
like yeah.
Like KD, the impression I get from KD, it's so weird. Like the impression is this guy eats, sleeps, lives, breathes basketball. Why the hell do you never seem like you care?
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. It's so frustrating to watch.
He's so babyish after every post game. Every post game, this guy, KD and Joel Embiid are my two least favorite players in the NBA.
I'm really not Jokic. You don't like Jokic? I thought Jokic would be up there.
It's
I know
personal with Jokic. It's I guess like from a post game interview, like an attitude standpoint, KD and Embiid are a cut above Jokic. I don't hate Jokic. Maybe it's like what I was saying about Patrick Mahomes before the NFL season started because I was acting like I didn't hate Patrick Mahomes and then the season started and then I remembered I hated him.
Right.
But like Jokic is just like, dude, you have this God-given talent and you're not really like, you're worried about your horses. I guess it's whatever,
People can't have other interests, Taff. God.
I mean, they totally can. That's what makes people cool. But
let the man go chill with his horses.
like that video of Jokic where he's like, he realizes that the championship parade is a thing, and his like he goes like his like like he has that genuine face of shock, and he's like, I have to go home, and like the yeah, I don't know.
Man's got places to be, dude.
That's true.
Time.
He just wants to see
he doesn't
his,
have time
he wants to see
for
his family.
Parade. Dude, he's got to take care of his horses. Horses need to eat. They need to be strutted around.
Mm-hmm.
You got to take. He's a proud pet owner. Just let him ride his horses, dude.
But while we're on the topic, just the NBA, 76ers. I guess less the 76ers and more the Knicks. I hate Joel Embiid. I remember a couple weeks ago you were saying that the Knicks were going to have a hard time with the 76ers, and I seriously don't know how. Do you still agree with that statement, or were you just yapping?
I don't think it's that they'll have that much of a trouble. I was probably over exaggerating, but I still think it's not like
we win in 5.
You win in 6. You win in 6. Maybe
Dude,
winning in 6. I don't know about winning in 5.
our depth is a question. The New York Knicks. I don't know if I've said them by name in this moment, but yeah, the Knicks, my team. Um, dude, I mean, our depth is definitely a question, but let's just look at how they match up, right? You have is Maxey starting at the 1 or the 2?
Let me double check. I don't know.
I'll look it
I'm
up.
not full in on 76ers depth. I imagine the
Philadelphia
1.
76ers depth.
Yeah, he's gonna be starting at the 1, I would imagine, and then you would have. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we have. Let's see how this looks in OBS.
Oh, they have Lowry.
Okay.
I didn't realize that.
Lowry's so annoying, dude. I hate Kyle Lowry.
Dude, how many people do you hate? Jesus. How many
There's
NBA players do you not
honestly,
like?
I think I just have very strong feelings about a lot of NBA players. Like a lot of them I either totally love or I despise them. Kyle Lowry in the playoffs, dude, we've had to play against Kyle Lowry in the playoffs twice now. This guy is always doing the annoying veteran moves. I dislike this guy so much I wouldn't want him on my own team. Like he's so annoying. He's
Oh
just
my God.
he's so
What is
past
the-
his prime.
Enlighten me. What is the patented veteran move? Explain.
Just he's always drawing fouls and he's never committed a foul in his life. You know, after every one he does a like after every single foul on him. Every single foul. And it is ridiculous. He does a
That's
like
kind of.
it's so he's just annoying. And he hits he hits way more threes than he should.
So he's good at hitting threes. Okay.
No,
God.
all right, and that was a stupid argument. Okay, he's just like, I would have to show you footage just to show you how annoying this guy is. We didn't get to watch any Knicks playoff basketball together because of geography, but you would understand. You would understand if we. I would have to show you clips from a game. Maybe we'll make a video out of that. Me pointing out how annoying Kyle Lowry is. But all right, back to the topic at hand. Knicks Sixers playoff matchup. Let's assume everybody's healthy. Mitchell Robinson is currently out until January, so let's hope Joel Embiid isn't a scumbag. Pulls him down, because Joel Embiid falls every 5 seconds. Y'all saw the play where he pulled him down after Joel Embiid fell down because he's somehow the clumsiest athlete on the globe. And Joel pulled Mitchell Robinson down by Mitchell Robinson's bum ankle and put Mitchell Robinson out for the rest of the playoffs. And this made me lose all hope. It's not like this, Joel Embiid never got fined. Nothing happened to this guy, and I think it's ridiculous. I hate the 76ers, dude. They are my worst enemy in basketball. Everybody, I don't mind the Celtics, honestly. My bad. All right, keep going on tangents. How do the Knicks match up against the Sixers in assuming they're all healthy, playoff matchup? Dude.
Are you asking me or are you telling me?
I think I'm setting the stage. I'm about to say what I think and you can bounce off of what I think. And then we'll have back and forth. You tell me what you think afterwards as well. All right. Tyrese Maxey, Jalen Brunson, solid matchup. Already happened this past season. Brunson outplays Maxey. Oubre Jr. and Paul George. I mean, dude, you have Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby guarding him. Kidding? Then you have Caleb freaking Martin at power forward. Are you kidding me right now? And then you have Joel Embiid and Karl Anthony Towns. Battle of the modern bigs. And honestly, talent-wise, Embiid probably wins that battle. But it's not by some large margin. It's not like he totally mutes Karl Anthony Towns. Honestly, also, you could put... if you remember last year in the playoffs, OG Anunoby, Embiid was going off, and then I'm pretty sure Mitch got in foul trouble, and we put OG Anunoby on Embiid, and Anunoby clamped Embiid. Embiid could not handle Anunoby being on him. And yeah, and we already have McCall to guard Paul George. So like, dude, we win in 5. This team is not deep either.
Yeah, it's not a deep team. The way I see it is this is gonna depend on how New York defends against them this time. Because if you take Anunoby, if you're gonna take Anunoby and match him up 1-on-1 with someone like Embiid, then all of a sudden you have to decide who McCall guards, either Maxey or Paul George. And I think it just kind of depends on which player plays well. I think it would basically have to rely on Paul George draining, actually making buckets, which I don't think happens consistently enough. But I still think it's enough to take you to 6 games. I don't think you could beat him in 5. I still think that's enough because you're acting
think
like
we could beat them in 5? Like why? Why not?
because I don't think OG Anunoby's good. What was it, the one game, or did he also do that the next game, the next series?
It was over 2 or 3 games against the Sixers. I think it was over 2 games. 2 games.
So a 2 game, it was good, but it's still a small sample size for a 7-game series. I don't think Anunoby just shuts down Embiid the entirety of the series.
But
I just don't see that. Like,
we still have Mitch and Cat.
Mitch is, I don't know. Mitch is not the same. I don't think Mitch would be the same defender on him against Anunoby, and I don't think the same way about Cat either.
Yeah, but we just our talent. The thing is, with like a year ago we had Hartenstein, and I think a good reason why I like the Cat trade is Hartenstein and Cat. Like obviously Karl Anthony Towns is a better shooter than Hartenstein, but they share a lot of the same traits. They can rebound, they can pass. Like the passes that Hartenstein was making, he was able to do it. Cat will be able to make those passes as well. Now we have added even more talent to the roster. It's why I think that the Knicks are just gonna cook the Sixers. And yeah, oh my God. Also, freaking Jacob Hitchings. I haven't forgotten what you said in the fantasy football group chat. You said the East runs through the Pacers, the Celtics, and the Sixers. And the Bucks. That was maybe the worst take I've heard in my entire life. I'm sorry, that I might have just come off as super aggressive right now. Come on the show. Let's talk about it, dude, because that was gross.
Yeah. Yeah. After being super aggressive, get on the show. Let's talk about it. Jeez. He's going at his throat.
No. But saying the East, I think he was just saying it to make me mad. But
yeah,
telling a Knicks fan that the East runs through the Pacers, oh my God. Oh, yeah, in that previous statement, underline the Pacers, because anybody that was paying attention knows about the injuries. I'm sorry, Jake, that I yelled at you just now, but dude, the Pacers? The Pacers? I'll explain in full another time. I think we need to talk about Thursday night football.
I'm looking at I don't see how the East runs through Indiana at all, just looking at their depth chart, but
they're ass. Fairly so. Third strike.
Wow, and you're done.
Bye guys. Bye guys. No.
It's I don't know, man. You never know, man. What if Tyrese becomes the equivalent of like LeBron plus Michael Jordan, and then they dashed in a little bit of Kobe, and then Tyrese Halliburton just carries Indiana?
I can actually see that happening. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see it.
And he like grows wings too. Starts flying around.
Yeah. He's got that big wingspan. He just starts running only on, like fossil fuels. He becomes just basically the equivalent of a car.
Mm-hmm.
And all he needs is a little gasoline.
And then he buys the entirety of the NASDAQ and
And then he starts running for president, and
Yep.
then
And then he becomes intergalactic leader.
yep, and then he goes to Jupiter, but not to get stupider, to get
More knowledge.
yeah.
Yeah, Tyrese Halliburton, you thought he was done, and then he went to Jupiter to get more knowledge. That is...
He's so smart.
That's how you know that guy's different. Little bit of a yap about the Pacers real quick. Everything changed for them when they brought Siakam in, but
Oh yeah.
they still aren't, because like that opened up, another playmaker for them. Which you can't have one source. You need two scorers. I think you need two scorers. It's kind of it can be likened to having a wide receiver one, like what happened with the Giants, like with Malik Neighbors. Like you have the defense collapsing on your good wide receiver one, so it opens up opportunities for your other guys. It's kind of the same way with having two scorers in the NBA. You need that second guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that changed a lot for the Pacers, but the East definitely does not run through them. Jacob Hitchings, I'm looking at you, Buckaroo. Indiana
Isn't
sports fan.
that claiming that whoever gets the 1 seed? That's the idea, right? Because if the East runs through anybody, it would be the team. That's even like a dumb thing to say about basketball, because you still play road games in the playoffs. Like no matter who you are, you have to play road games in the playoffs. It's just weird. It's a weird set.
What does that have to do with the East running through Indiana?
So the way it works, my understanding
statement.
of that phrase is if you say that like in football, like the AFC runs through Kansas City, right? Normally what that means is that's the best team in the league, which means they're likely to get the 1 seed, which means everyone has to go through Kansas City in order to get aforementioned to said championship game, the Super Bowl. In basketball, I feel like that's a weird term because it's not like the 1 seed has home field advantage like the whole time. Like they have home court advantage in the 7th game, but it's not like every single game they play in the playoffs is at home. You know what I mean? Like it's more like, because like 2 home, 2 away, 1 home, 1 away, 1 home. It's just a weird. I mean, I guess it still works, but it just fundamentally it boggles my brain.
Yeah. Ultimately, I don't think it really matters what the Pacers do. Screw them.
I don't know, man. Just don't. Let's just hope for your sake that they don't lose to Indiana again.
Chat, clip this so when we're playing Indiana in the playoffs in what, 8 months?
Yeah, when they
7 months,
sweep you in 4
6 months.
games.
Damn, NBA playoffs are only 6 months away, man. The season flies by.
The season hasn't started.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? The season flies by, and we still aren't officially in it yet.
We're only 6 months away from the NBA playoffs, guys. This is crazy. The season's going by so quick.
When's the first game again?
The first game is Knicks Celtics on October 22nd at 7 or 8 o'clock Eastern time. I can't remember. But
just look it up.
dude, if I'm off that day, I would love to maybe come out to Rochester and throw that game on, have shenanigans happen.
Oh, what? No way, dude. Wait, what was the day again? I missed it. I missed what you said.
October 22nd. I'm going to look it up. Knicks Celtics opener.
You know what this is gonna create, right? If the Knicks win this game, where's that? Is that MSG?
It's in TD Garden.
Oh, okay.
What are you going to say? What's it going to create?
Because remember, what was it? That same meme of all the Knicks fans doing Fortnite dances outside of MSG.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's gonna be, if they win, it's gonna be another one of those memes, and then you have another meme for every time the Knicks do something dumb or stupid.
Oh, that's great.
It's great. I love it.
A meme for every time the Knicks do something great, you mean?
No, it's better when you have like if I could take that clip of the Knicks fans celebrating outside, I could just put like clown music over it. She goes like
No, that I love that. I actually follow the guy who did the "From Boston." Woo-hoo! You know what I'm talking about? I follow that guy on Instagram, and Yeah, I don't
Oh
know.
my.
There's a lot of montages that he gets tagged in with like epic music, like
I have no doubt.
paired with like Jalen Brunson highlights. It's pretty sweet.
I have no doubt.
But yeah, I'm so excited for that game. Honestly, I think the Knicks are gonna lose, but I think we can have a full extended discussion about this season opener another time. Maybe we have a pregame show for that game. Who knows?
Might be
Um,
able to.
yeah.
So that'd be a good idea.
I like it because we could bring Diamond in, the Celtics fan. We could bring Nate in. So you and Nate could be the two neutral parties.
We no, we can just be haters.
Yeah.
Just be. That's what we don't call it the neutral party. It's you're either a fan of a team or you're just a hater.
I like it. All right, do we talk about
We'd be like Dwayne Wade and LeBron James, and when it comes to hating, dude, I feel like it would make the most sense.
You and Nate are both some D1 haters. So I think that would actually be a great crew for any show. Nate's coming on this Sunday's pregame show, by the way.
Woo!
What? What?
Don't miss it.
Do not. 10:30 every Sunday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern. All right, are we talking about Thursday night football now?
Before we get into Thursday night, I gotta talk about my team first.
Oh
of
yeah,
all,
yeah, yeah.
okay?
Let's go.
You guys kind of just jumped to the shark going on about basketball or whatever.
I love jumping over sharks and dribbling basketballs.
He loves. It sounds like I don't know, like a Mad Max Fury Road or something that like John Cena or Dwayne the Rock Johnson would say in a movie that they made that where they just play themselves.
That sounds like
I love jumping over sharks talking basketball.
that sounds like something Dwayne the Rock Johnson says in a movie when he's about to jump the shark, and he's like, "I came here to jump sharks and dribble basketballs." And brother, the Rock's
And
all
we're all out of basketballs.
Well, let's hear about these
Oh my
Steelers,
God.
Philip White.
So if we talk if Cincinnati and Buffalo was bad coaching, I am appalled. I was sick to my stomach watching this game. Context. First, this game was delayed an hour already to lightning storm. So I knew I was going to have to stay up to either 1 a.m. to either be somewhat satisfied with a win or absolutely watch my heart get just not broken, but just beaten like a drum. And that's exactly what happened. This team offensively is just broken. It's terrible. It doesn't matter who we bring in coordinator. It's a catastrophe. Every time it looks like we can think we're going to do something on offense, we come out on offense, let's do something different. Nope, run first. It's just such a run first offense. It's got
Arthur
no
Smith
faith
might
in
need to go already.
I don't think it's an Arthur Smith thing. I think this is a huge Mike Tomlin thing.
I don't know. Arthur Smith's historically a huge run-heavy guy. That was just a thought if you're going to continue. But
He is a run heavy guy, but I had so many problems with Powell last night. Number one, this offense just needs to be better. And I had a huge problem with George picking the snap count. And I get it. People will say he's a diva. I know there's a lot of stuff going on around about that. I understand. But when you're talking about just the only wide receiver on that team, outside of him, it would be Van Jefferson, who's been a journeyman wide receiver. You have Calvin Austin, who I like, but is at best a wide receiver 3, really just a nice deep threat. And then that's it. There's hardly anybody else on that depth chart. And he played 61% of the snaps. Could you imagine if the best, you took Jamar Chase off the field for 40% of the snaps, or Justin Jefferson off the field for 40% of the snaps? It's your best pass catcher. What is he not doing on the field? I did not understand that in the slightest at all. It was blasphemous.
yeah, Pickens, he really underperformed.
It wasn't about underperforming. It's just the fact that he's not seeing the field.
I didn't realize that. Honestly, I fell asleep during the weather delay and woke up on my couch at 1:30 a.m. and I was like, oh, the Steelers lost.
Right. But I'm watching these run packages, and listen, you know what helps to run the ball? To have your best receiver out there. If your best receiver isn't out there on the field, there's absolutely no threat, especially from this offense, to be able to throw the ball whatsoever. The defense is just going to be prepared for a run. It's undoubted. It's uncanny. I think another problem last night was that it was only like Najee Harris and Aaron Shamplin, who's like the fourth running back on this depth chart, because there was no Warren, there was no Cordarrelle Patterson. But it's not excusable. You have to be able to move the ball. Like, there are
Yeah.
offenses in the league who are always able to find creative ways to move the ball, even with hurt players. Even without Puka and Cooper Kupp, the Rams still find ways to move the ball offensive. It's just
Yeah, you do need some creativity. You need some vision. And I don't think that Arthur Smith has that. Mike Tomlin has been a part of some dynamic offenses. So that's why I don't think it's much of a Mike Tomlin thing. Arthur Smith, this guy is from Atlanta. Look at how freaking stiff. Dude, if offenses, if like you put all the NFL offenses on a dance floor, the Arthur Smith coach one would always be like borderline too cool to dance. Like, you know what I'm talking about?
like just like moving shoulders like this.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Yeah, but that stems back to Mike Tomlin. Tomlin was the one who brought in Arthur Smith, and this was actually crazy. This is a guy I watch a lot. I think it's Frank Michael Smith. He's got a bunch of nice takes. I mean, I disagree with some, but like, he had a really good point that I didn't even realize, and makes so much sense. Mike Tomlin, you know how like coaches have coaching trees? You've got Andy Reid has a bunch of guys who he coached that are now head coaches or coordinators or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's got like 11 people in his head coaching tree. Sean McVay is very young and 4 dudes. Tomlin, who's been coaching the Steelers for 2 decades now, has 0.
Dang.
0. So zero of his staff has gone on to be coordinators elsewhere, have gone on to be head coaches elsewhere. And I'm
Why
sitting there
is
like,
that? You think?
because I don't think he knows how to put together a staff. I genuinely don't. I think it's so absolute.
That's so strange because he's been at it for a while.
You would think, right? You would think somebody out of that coaching tree would have been hired.
Yeah, you look at Sean McVay, man. That Sean McVay coaching tree is crazy.
Right?
He hasn't been around. Tomlin's been around longer than McVay, right?
Yeah, McVay only came in, was only a head coach since like 2016. Tomlin's been a coach since like the mid-aughts. Like, we're talking 2007, 2007, I think, was his first year as a head coach. So
I would love to look at McVay's resume.
it's an impressive resume. But you're talking like, this is like bogus. Like, how is this happening? How is it that this, and I think really the truth is a lot of that was carried by guys like Big Ben, Antonio Brown, those dynamic offensive players. I think Big Ben was just such a good quarterback when he was drafted that he was actually able to cover up some of those flaws that Tomlin had by not being able to develop an offensive line right away, or like, and it would be able to overcome a lot of the coaching flaws, like the lack of preparation for games. Because this game, you can't listen. You can win on defense occasionally, but in this modern day of the NFL, you can't expect to hold a modern day offense to like less than 20 points each week. It's just not. It's not feasible. There's too many good quarterbacks. There's too many good wide receivers. You need to be able to produce on offense, because if you don't, you're not going anywhere. You might be able to get into the playoffs with a low seed, but it's not actually going to win you any playoff games. He hasn't had any postseason. His last postseason win was the 2016 season when they went on. They beat Alex Smith and the Chiefs. So it's been 7 years of that playoff win. And listen, there's no other coach in the NFL that's gone longer than 3. No other coach in the NFL has gone longer than 3 seasons without a playoff win.
That's not true. Look at Robert Saleh.
3 years. 3 years.
There for
and
3 years. I thought he was there for 4.
Got fired.
Yep.
So,
dang.
I mean, you can keep making these playoffs, but it's not. It's such a low standard at this point. Like, oh, we never have a losing season. Who cares?
Yeah,
win a playoff game.
You play the 1 seed every year, or they got the best team that doesn't have a bye, and then you lose.
Right, and then you get smacked. Like,
so what do you think needs to change?
What needs to change is, to be honest, they need to like talk to Tomlin and say, hey, dude, like, you gotta either bring in like high quality people offensively, or you're just done. Like, I think it's because Pittsburgh is such a rigid organization and isn't used to change. Like, they've only had 3 major head coaches in there. It was Chuck Noll, and then it was Bill Cowher, and then it was Mike Tomlin. They have had the fewest of head coaches by far of any organization, and it's just they're not used to change. So with presented an opportunity to switch off of Mike Tomlin, they're gonna give every reason why not to, because they don't like change, man. It's crazy. It's wild. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Sorry, donk. So you're saying fire Mike Tomlin? Think about it.
I think it has to be considered if the season ends anyway similar to the way it ended. If the season ends, even if the season is wild card, lose to the 2 seed, or like a wild card berth and losing, then no, it's not good enough.
Well, I know y'all are y'all are coming off of back-to-back losses, but based off of what you just said and just how the team has looked, I think the floor, in order for Mike Tomlin to not get fired, little playoff run. Like, y'all had some quality wins within the first 3 weeks. I think 2 playoff wins, playoff win or 2. Actually, the absolute floor for Mike Tomlin to be, cozy in his coaching position. Playoff win, close game in the divisional round.
It needs it needs to be. I just need to see something different. I need to see that the offense is actually producing. If the offense is producing and can put up I don't know, at least, not constantly 17 points. The max we've put up is 24, and that was in a loss. We've dropped 20 against the Chargers. I think it was 13 against Denver and 18 against Atlanta. And I think that first Atlanta game there were no touchdowns in the game. So you can't just have these drives not ending in touchdowns. You need to be producing. And in order to produce, I'm sorry, you can't have your best offensive skill player only play 60% of the snaps. The excuse
60% is crazy.
Was wild. It was we're limiting his snaps so he can produce more further down the line. What are you talking about? You got a game to play right now. Why is he not out there right now producing? Why is he?
Yeah, right. It's so tough. Also, give it. So correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all gave up a lead there at the end, correct?
We had the lead the whole time, and Dak. And the craziest thing. The defense had 4 turnovers. They forced 4 turnovers. Any other team, your defense forced 4 turnovers. Game's in the bag. For Pittsburgh, It's the only way we can play a close game.
Mm-hmm.
That game could have been so much worse if it wasn't for the defense forcing some huge turnovers. There was a strip sack on Dak in the red zone. There was that interception by Dante Jackson in the red zone. That game could have been a blowout if it wasn't for the defense. And yet the defense was able to come up clutch and make plays, but that should have been. If your defense has 3 turnovers and blocks a field goal, you have to. You can't just.
They really fumbled the bag on that one.
That just can't happen. It can't happen, and it did. And it did happen.
Yeah, that was pretty redonk. When the defense has been stellar all year. But yeah, womp womp.
They fell up. Mommy's being mean to me.
That offense as a whole, maybe. I guess this is a conversation for another week, but maybe. You need to have Pickens playing more snaps. I would like to see Najee be a little less patient behind the line of scrimmage.
Thank you.
Maybe. This is a conversation for another week, but it's interesting. Maybe Justin Fields looks so much like a star because of the lacklusterness of the rest of the offense. But I don't know. This guy has thrown very accurately this year, statistically. So, I'll hold off on that. I think that was just a thought that probably isn't true right now. But I guess if the rest of the offense does step it up, it'd be something to be was that Justin Fields' run of actually looking cozy in the pocket a fluke?
I think it's we'll see. Yeah. I don't have my statement on Justin is they don't let him do enough in my opinion. I think there are times where he looks good, and then I've seen other moments where he needs to just pull the trigger, and I think it's because his confidence in Chicago is just a little shot still. Like he's still having some of those Bears moments, and you kind of notice it. Like he'll hold on to the ball way too long. Like he'll have like 3 seconds. You have 3 seconds, that's an eternity usually, especially against most NFL defenses with how fast they get off the edge. You gotta by 3 seconds the ball should be out. And there were moments where it could have been for like big completions. It wasn't happening.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't happening there.
I remember Justin Fields week 1, I think. Could be wrong on that. He had the best throw I've seen him make of his career. It was week 1 or week 2. You know what I'm talking about, right? Where he rolled out right, and then he was like getting hit as he throws, and he just slung it to, I think it was either Pickens or Van Jefferson about 20, 25 yards down the field.
It was, I think Pickens, he pulled it in, but I think got called back, if I remember correctly.
It did.
Yeah, it's just, like, you see that, and you'd like that to be, like, not necessarily the norm, but, see more. And it just doesn't happen. There's just some little curse, like, not a curse, but the way they coach there in Pittsburgh just has not led to good offense. And, I mean, even when Big Ben was there were moments where they should have been much better on offense, and they just weren't able to step on the gas and put teams away. Like, I remember a game, like it was a primetime game against Green Bay, and Aaron Rodgers was hurt. It was a primetime game because it was a primetime game because it was a primetime game. It was against Green Bay, and Rodgers wasn't even in this game. I think it was Brett Hundley. It was like T.J. Watt's rookie year, bunch of stuff going on.
Wow.
And this game was close. This game was way closer than it should have been. The defense was allowing Brett Hundley to make plays. For some reason, the Pittsburgh Steelers were not consistently moving the ball on offense against the Green Bay defense that was lackluster. And yet, this game had to come down to a crazy snag by Antonio Brown on the sideline to get into range for Boswell.
Yep.
So, those are the kind of that kind of offense just doesn't exist anymore in Pittsburgh, and you can't. Like, that was the kind of offense you had where you had those type of quarterback and receiver that could make those plays. That offense doesn't exist in Pittsburgh anymore, and this is the ramifications. It's it's still these very, very tight games, but it's leaning the other way now a little bit because you don't have that same talent at quarterback.
Yeah. So, do you want the Steelers to get Davante Adams to supplement that wide receiver talent?
No, because I take it back. I want Davante Adams.
Yeah,
but only
who wouldn't? But from go on.
For a reasonable price. But if they're not gonna they can't figure out how to use Pickens correctly, and he's been on the team for a few years now. How are you gonna bring in a new receiver and immediately be like, yeah, this is how we're gonna utilize him. This is what we're gonna do. It's just why? Like I understand the sentiment, but if you don't know how to utilize the weapons that are on your own team, why are you going and trading for? Like, you don't even want to use Pickens for more than 70% of the game. Like, what are you doing? Like, hello, come on, figure out who you have and how you're able to utilize them before you try to make what I think could end up being a irrational trade for Davante Adams.
True, it depends what the price is, but I mean, how complicated would it be to get Pickens utilized the right way? Like, clearly the guy's talented. Just give him more snaps. It's like the guy can run any route you put him on. Like, how hard would it be? Like, what do you want to see for them to utilize Pickens correctly? Do you just want to see a higher snap count? What do you think needs to change?
Well, first what needs to start is a higher snap count, 100%. Because we talked about this with wide receiver. You talked about this in the NBA. You have two scores. It opens up everything for everyone else. It's the exact same precedent. You take the receiver off the field, all of a sudden you're cutting yourself off at the knees. You don't have that difference maker. You don't have that guy to pull away coverages from. Last night, Dallas was able to benefit drastically because they had CD on the field. CD didn't have a great second half. I think he was rather quiet, but he was quiet because guys like Jalen Tolbert, guys like Kavontae Turpin, Jake Ferguson were getting open because CD's a guy who demands double coverage a lot of the time. So if you have a player like that in Pickens, which I think you do, he's a type of player that can command double coverage if you give him like those 10 target games, those 10, 12 target games. But in order for him to get those targets, he's got to see the field more.
Yeah. I like it. I agree.
Just hope it doesn't.
We
If we
need
lose to the Raiders, if we lose to the
We're
Raiders,
losing to
Tomlin's
the
team should be
Raiders.
very on fire. That's all I'm
Oh
saying.
yeah.
I mean, listen, it's always Tomlin trap game, man. It's on the road. If he thinks if this game is lost, there needs to be serious conversations about what they're gonna do moving. Whether I think a lot. It depends on how the game goes ultimately, but there should be question marks now. There should be answers if they lose.
Yeah, there should be exclamation points added to those question marks if y'all lose against the Raiders.
Whoa.
And and like I feel like if y'all were to get rid of Tomlin, of course it would be a very amicable thing. It would be nothing like the Robert Saleh firing or anything, because like when I saw Robert Saleh go, I there was a time where I liked that guy, but good riddance, bro. It's time to Squidward in the gated community syndrome, man.
Squidward in the gated community syndrome, man.
We're making that a thing. I don't think it's very Squidward in the gated community syndrome, man, with Mike Tomlin. But you just need you need somebody that's going to create a dynamic offense for you. A change at all. Like the Squidward in the gated community syndrome is like when somebody needs a change, period. There's a lot of good things that Pittsburgh can look at right now. All right, you ready to talk about Thursday night?
Yeah, let's roll up Thursday night football.
Thursday night football. What is it? Seahawks, Niners?
Niners, Seahawks, baby.
Oh my God.
This game has implications.
What are these implications you speak of, Philip White?
I mean, here's the thing. San Francisco is I think we're all kind of shocked by this. There's a shocking 2-3, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you've now lost 2 divisional games. You've lost to Arizona. You've lost to LA. If you lose to Seattle, like you would have lost to everyone in your division. Mm-hmm. You would be 2-4. You would already have an uphill climb from there. Now, granted, and again, I know LA's 1-4. And their only win is against San Francisco, but if they can find a way to get Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp back, they could still, I think, be competitive down the stretch. It looked like Arizona in their game against San Francisco finally found an identity. They felt
identity,
like they were.
You said you cut out.
Yeah, identity. Like they have they were physically running the ball with James Conner late in that game.
Yep.
I mean, Marvin Harrison, that fourth down, screw it, he's down there somewhere. That coming back to that ball, he had a quiet game over. Huge catch for him.
I love seeing the Cardinals win that game.
Yeah, and I mean, I get it. Your kicker was out. You could have maybe gotten more points if Mooney was Mooney was Moody was healthy. Jake Moody. If he was healthy, then yes, you maybe win that game. But the reality is he wasn't. You're now 2-3, and McCaffrey's still not here for this game. They're expecting a week 7 return at the earliest, so we're looking at the week after this. But this is on the road. This is I think, do or die for San Francisco. I really think they need to find a way to win this game to have a much needed anything. The only good news I took away from last game for San Fran was that Brandon Ayuk started to play well. Maybe it was the heat that they struggled with, but this was...
Dude, it was hot.
What was it? It was a hot 105.
105.
It was around there.
Yeah, ranged in there.
This was but again, you're supposed to be the defending NFC champs. You're supposed to be, this is your Super Bowl window. Like, how long of a window do you have? If you think Brock Purdy's your guy, you got to pay him at some point, which means you're going to be losing out some other pieces. You got to go back to find that. At some point, you have to really start pushing. And 3 losses already in 5 weeks. When, I mean, it doesn't get any easier. Like, let me check one thing real quick.
Brock Purdy's on his contract year.
No, he's not. He's got one more year after this. But if you don't win this year, then after this year, there's definitely going to be conversations. Because when you have a good quarterback, normally like to get the contract done before the year of their contract year. That's generally how it's gone down with a lot of guys. And so you're now in a position where you you have a quarterback that you think is good, but for how long, right? Like he's good, but are you going to be able to pay him like long term, especially? And then what guys would you lose if you end up moving off them? Because right now, looking at their season so they have Seattle this week on Thursday. Then you have Kansas City and Dallas, Tampa Bay, Seattle again, Green Bay,
Wow.
Buffalo.
Whoa, that is not an easy stretch of games at all. How many games was that you were saying? 6?
7 games.
7?
That's 7 from 2 days from now, which is October 10th, when we're recording this, and then December 1st. You have road game tonight against Seattle. You host the Chiefs. You host Dallas. You go to Tampa. You host Seattle. You go to Green Bay. You go to Buffalo. None of those are going to be easy wins, and then to close it out. I mean, that's not even then. I mean, we'll see what Chicago looks like, but then you get to rematch against the Rams, Miami, but you still have Detroit also that December 30th too, which is your second to last game. Wow. So you have to come out of this. The way I see it, you have to come out of that stretch. I mean, what would be your 2 and 3? What would you ideally like to come out as? You may not come out of that stretch with a winning record. So,
yeah,
and you don't have a winning record now.
7-game stretch. You've played 12 games. I mean, the Niners, they don't really have much of a choice to right. Like they gotta win this. That's kind of a funny statement, but like you gotta win this game against Seattle. Seattle's 3-2. You're 2-3. You gotta get something rolling, especially when you play the 5-0 Chiefs. Maybe there's. I guess we're yet to see if they win their Week 6 game, but. Like, yeah, you're going to have to go above 500 in this stretch that you failed to go above 500 in an easier stretch of games.
I mean, yeah, look at their 2 wins. Jets, Pats.
Yep, Jets, Pats, man.
That's it. They've lost to Minnesota. They've lost to the Rams, and now they lose to Arizona.
Remember when the AFC East was the most entertaining division in football? Oh, good times.
It never was. It ever was.
Yeah,
it
was
really
like 2
ever?
years ago. 2 years ago. A year ago, maybe.
Was it?
To me.
Was it really?
In my house, it was. In my house, it was because.
I guess so. Yeah, your house was loaded with AFC East. You're just missing a Pats fan.
Yeah.
But
God, we suck. The AFC East sucks.
But that is, I mean, that's a terrifying. I mean, again, that's a first place schedule, and you're gonna have to fight your way through that. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
I'll take a look at Seattle. I mean, they would still like to obviously win this game. I mean,
Also,
nobody likes to lose.
Little side note: CMC is maybe with a star next to it, coming back Week 7.
Oh yeah, exactly right. So he's not coming back for this one. And the thing is, on the broadcast, one thing that Brady pointed out, who was commentating the game, he pointed out that those Jordan Mason runs. I like Jordan Mason, incredible filling in for CMC.
Yep.
The difference is CMC turns those Mason long runs into touchdowns, and him not being there, I think, does have a legitimate impact. I know Jordan Mason's good, but I think he is the difference maker that's turning those long runs into touchdowns. And I mean, looking at Seattle right now, they also don't have it very easy. They have to play Buffalo as well, but theirs is looks a little more lenient. I mean, they get the Jets later on, they get Chicago, they get the Rams. They do have to play the Vikings late, but I don't know. Looking at it overall, the NFC West, I guess, is going to always have a tough schedule. That San Francisco stretch looks so brutal, and based on the way they played through 5 weeks, I don't think you can really say that they're up there with the top teams right now. You can't. You say I don't care if they're 2 and 3. I don't care how good their roster looks. This is a brutal stretch right now. They gotta find something. I think they have to find a couple things. They gotta start working through it.
They gotta figure it out, man. I don't know what's going on. They have all the talent in the world.
I think it's got to start here against Seattle, because if it doesn't start here and you drop 2 and 4, then you go into that stretch even worse.
Oh,
right?
Yeah,
so
2 and 4 against the Chiefs. Oh,
yeah,
horrible.
I mean, the question is, are they still reeling?
Are they still reeling off of their Super Bowl loss?
Super Bowl loss. Yeah, that's the question. Is the Super Bowl loser curse? Is is it affecting the San Francisco 49ers? I mean, they've lost it now
So
twice in the
far,
last 5 years.
yeah. But I mean, who did they lose? They didn't lose anybody, did they? Like,
No. And I
mm,
mean, again,
it's tough.
you got to take away from the positives after that game. At least Brandon Ayuk is getting into rhythm again. This was a brutal game. I think the way also. Let me go check the stats. But another thing I noticed, and I think one thing became a little. Maybe I gotta check numbers first before I go yapping about it.
Hmm.
But I thought that the 49ers offensive line struggled a bit as well. They didn't allow too many sacks, but there were a lot of batted passes at the line. Like
There
even though the
were.
game-ending play was a batted pass,
Yep.
they were getting their hands on passes and Brock Purdy had a 19 of 35,
Yep.
244, one touchdown, two picks, and I mean, those Arizona took advantage in a lot of moments. Even that Kyler Murray at the beginning, I was like, all right, maybe the Cardinals win. Then San Francisco took the game. They started to have that. They had that first half lead, and then they lost it again.
Hmm.
So I think they have a lot of questions to answer, and they going into this game against Seattle. Seattle's also riding a 2-game losing streak. San Francisco came
Yeah,
off a
to the
loss.
Giants. How
Yeah,
about
both
that?
trying to get off the schneid here.
What'd you say?
Both trying to get off the schneid. They
They're
both
both trying to
lost.
get off the Schneid, man. Yeah. The I um that Seahawks loss against the I don't know how much longer I have a couple different things on my mind. I'll say this first before we consider moving over to that Giants Seahawks game that was surprisingly crazy. Bro, I loved watching the Cardinals win that game against the Niners. Oh, that was awesome. Great game
It
from
was
Kyler Murray.
Kyler needed to do.
Also, that D line of the Cardinals, like you said, last play of the game, man, all those batted passes. Oh, that was so fun. It always brings me a good bit of joy when the Cardinals win because they were my first team. I remember my first team in football was Kurt Warner and Larry Fitzgerald, man. I remember the first NFL season I watched like all the way through. Like in previous years I was born in '01, so I must have been like 7 or 8. Might have been like my first or second NFL season I actually paid attention to. I was familiar with how it worked. That was when I really bought in. Oh, just so many good memories of Kurt Warner and Larry Fitzgerald, and then crying my eyes out when Santonio Holmes made that insane catch in the Super Bowl. Like, it always brings me a good bit of joy to see the Cardinals do well. Given the horribleness of the Jets right now, I might make the Cardinals my second team, but the Jets, I have that natural rooting for them in my soul.
All right. I mean, yeah. I mean, for sure. A
Yeah.
little bit of Arizona loving. You can't really go wrong.
Also, Arizona's a beautiful place. Mm, mm.
It is a nice little abode.
Indeed.
I've only been once, and it was to see the Grand Canyon.
The Grand Canyon. Yeah, I had some family that lived there, and they ended up moving to Pittsburgh, which is that's kind of funny. Um, but yeah, dude, Arizona's so beautiful. It's such a cool place. I prefer the dry heat to the humid heat. Maybe I'll move to Arizona at some point.
He's moving everywhere. He's going everywhere, ladies.
Yep, maybe I'll go to France. Maybe I'll go to Spain. Maybe I'll go to Arizona.
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 Oh,
All right, Philip. We're about 90 minutes in. What are we thinking about this
let's.
podcast episode?
I'm feeling good. Let me talk real quick. Let me throw it down about the Seahawks because I think it was fascinating. I think
Hmm.
losing with the Ryans, I was like, oh yeah, the Seahawks team, they look legit, and then they lose to the Giants. I'm like, what? Granted, I'll give credit to the Giants. They played a great game.
Danny Dimes,
Tyreek
baby.
outstar in that one. Danny Dimes actually looked like a quarterback for the first time in a while.
Yep.
For the first, maybe ever. I don't know. He's looked like that against Washington occasionally,
He
but I
did in
mean,
that
yeah,
one
22
playoff
and
win.
34, 7. Ooh, touchdowns. Yeah. This feels so long ago.
That was
So
like
long ago.
ages ago at this point.
Long ago. But yeah, I mean that, and the crazy thing is, even with the way the Giants played, Seattle was able to come back in that game and almost tied it. And then of course the blocked field goal, these two touchdowns, that score looks a little worse than it actually was. But they had every shot to win the game. I think this is going to be an interesting Thursday night game. If we want, we can put in our pick right now, seal it, and lock it in. Because I'm ready to pick
Oh.
this game.
Yeah, that's true actually. That's basically the main event. That's how we get our Thursday night picks in now.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You know what? I'll ask you. Who do you have in this game? You're always asking me. Who do you have in this game, Taff?
Oh God, it's so hard going first.
Yeah, I was gonna say I always go first. What's with that?
Because I like to ask you, and it gives me an opportunity to be contrarian or gain your perspective and maybe agree with it. Oh God, I mean, dude, it's kind of like the same thing as me picking the Jets every week. It's like how I'm gonna keep picking the Bills, except the Jets will take precedent this Monday. Um,
Yeah.
Give me the Niners.
Yeah.
Give me the Niners, man. I mean, dude, they're too good to fall to 2-4.
Interesting. You don't got any explanation for that at all? Don't want to throw in
All
words.
right, all right, yeah, here
Give
we
me
go.
something to play
Here we
off a little
go.
bit.
I mean, the Giants, man, they beat them. The Seahawks, honestly, during this like a lot of this game, I was not watching a lot of this game, and I was helping my grandfather take air conditioners out, but honestly. The Niners have too much talent. Like, Jordan Mason, yeah, whatever. He doesn't extend big runs into touchdowns. Like, you're still the freaking 49ers. I want to see Debo look like himself. I want to see George Kittle keep getting healthier. Debo needs to produce. Also, that San Fran O-line, I don't know if they're hurt or what. Don't allow all those batted down passes. Just lock in. Lock in, San Fran. Be San Fran.
Lock in.
Yeah. Give me San Fran. They're gonna improve to 500. They're gonna bring the Seahawks down to 500. That just makes sense to me. I think. I don't think I know. I know it makes sense to me. What do you think,
All right.
Philip White?
I will have to. Dang, man, it's not any easier going second.
I love going second because you be dropping stats out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh. Yeah.
I love my two statistics. This is tough because do I see Seattle losing? Do you see them losing back to back?
I think you might be overrating the losing streak. Like, it's kind of like
I understand.
remember. Sorry, I'm gonna add something to what I was just saying. Like, remember when we were talking about the Jags game a few days ago?
Yeah.
It's kind of like San Fran in the same way the Jags did. They're playing for pride. It's like obviously they're also playing for way more than pride, but like how much pride is in that locker room? It's like we're not gonna let ourselves fall to 2-4 right now with the same personnel. That's what I'm valuing over the Seahawks dropping 2 games straight.
That is valid. I think in that case, I will roll. I agree. I think San Francisco needs to win this game. I think there's much more sense of desperation for them than I think it is for Seattle. Seattle, New York. I will, and they're not gonna have to be dealing with that much heat. It's gonna be nighttime. It should be cooler. I agree. I will roll with San Francisco to get their bounce back win on the road in Seattle. Okay.
Niners on both sides again. We'll have to call up Diamond. We'll release his pick.
It's very hard to pick against them, right? Like,
yeah, right.
That's like, how do you really pick against them? It's like picking against the Chiefs, man. Like, I don't.
Exactly.
You really think you should? You really think you got something, but you probably don't.
Yep,
like,
I did this week. Didn't work for me at all.
Yep.
Picked the Saints, dude. Those poor Saints.
Nothing. I got nothing. Nah, no poor Saints. They always.
Poor Saints.
Nope.
Come on.
Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Not doing it.
Why not?
Man, Nah, just not. Not giving him no sympathy.
Nah. You know,
Nah.
I don't have sympathy for Derek Carr, but I have sympathy for Saints fans all over the world.
All right. I'll give them their sympathy, but I don't give no sympathy to no Derek Carr.
Yeah, Derek Carr, he's goofy.
Derek Carr, more like Derek Tricycle.
Oh! Derek
Should
Derek Carr,
Derek-
more like yeah.
Derek Train.
Yeah, well, if he
He's
yeah,
stuck on the rails.
in the first 2 weeks.
He was a train. Now he's a bicycle. Soon enough, he's gonna be a pogo stick. Derek Pogo.
Yo, Phil, could I hit you with a joke real quick?
Sure.
Or a fact of information, and then a little something something. Did you know that Minnesota has the highest percentage of alcoholics in the country?
Intriguing.
Yep. Now, how do you make a Minnesotan mad?
How?
Bars closed.
Oh my gosh.
I saw that on a Sunday Conversation interview, and
I thought you were gonna hit me. Are you gonna try to hit me with the room?
Oh
40?
yeah, dude! Did you hear Kendrick Lamar's performing at the Room 40?
Room for these nuts.
Yeah, but guys, Kendrick Lamar's performing at the Room 40. You should tell your friends. Ask your friends if they know.
Yeah, big time.
But yo,
Let 'em know.
Philip, wait, do you like tapes and CDs? All right, do we have any more things to yap about, or do we? What are we thinking about this? We're an hour and 37 minutes in. You know, I wanna keep it tight because last time in the episode that got scrapped, we ran for almost 3 hours, and then upon editing it, we realized that it was like all like fat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
A little too much fat on my steak. I like my steak with a nice little like meat on that bone, you know?
Oh,
Meat on that
a
bone.
little bit of meat on that bone. Okay, so Phil, tell me, how do you get your steaks cooked?
Oh, usually medium rare, I think.
Oh, okay.
Medium, or no, I take it back. Usually a medium, not medium rare.
You know, you were valid until you weren't.
What? Correct? I don't think I'm right there. I don't know what to
Look,
tell
dude,
you, but I don't know what to tell you.
the older I get, the rarer I want my steaks. When I was a kid, I thought it was weird to have your beef be, red or whatever. And I would get whatever's above medium rare. Is that medium?
Yeah, whatever above medium rare, medium.
Yeah. I would always get my steaks medium when I was a kid. And then I got a medium rare, I think on accident one time when I was like 13. Changed my life. Now I order my steaks rare. Come on. I love it.
Nah, dude, I can't with rare, dude.
Something about it, dude. It's just so freaking good. Oh my god. Just salt and pepper on the just season it with just salt and pepper. You don't need to over season your steak. Just dude, I honestly I like it doesn't obviously like it's not going to be freezing cold in the middle, but I even like it when it's like a different temperature in the middle. Like it's love it.
I'm sorry, man. I'm not big on that like that, you know? I ain't big on it like that.
Now, do you enjoy medium rare?
I can have a medium rare steak, but the whole point of a steak is they're going to ask you, how'd you like that cooked? I'm always going to say medium. Like, I'll still eat it medium rare.
But like, why do you order it medium? What do you think medium has on medium rare? Because I think that's kind of redonk.
Because it's the perfect blend of, because it's still pink. Like, a properly cooked medium steak is still pink, but it's not so like I don't like my steak to be too gooey. Like, I need like it's like, you remember the story of Goldilocks.
But if
this bed is too soft. This bed is just right.
But if
Medium's
it's
just right.
but if it's well done, it's gonna be chewy.
Not that the right chewiness. That's not necessarily true. Sometimes you can get like too well done, and that's the thing. That's also another thing, by the way. If you ask them to do it and both, like sometimes I'll get well done and it'll be too well done, and then that's why I never get well done. And then I'll have rare, and then it's way too rare. Then like the only reason that I would prefer that as opposed to well done, like if I were to have a rare or well done steak, I'd have a rare steak. Because if it's too rare, I can always be like, hey, can you cook that a little bit longer? I could just be like, it's too rare, because most restaurants will allow them. Some restaurants allow you to cook it a little longer. Like I'll cut it, and be like, it's a little too rare. Can you cook that a little more? Versus well done. Once it's well done, there's nothing you can do. You need a new steak.
True. Do you remember when that lady in Miami wouldn't make me another steak because she overdid it?
Oh yeah, I do remember. That was so weird. Like they were insisting that was how it was supposed to be. Like that's how it's cooked. That's the correct way to cook it. I was like, no,
Like,
it's not.
That's not how I asked it to be cooked. And like, I was younger and a lot less adamant about things. But like, yeah, like they just refused. And it's like, bruh, I asked for medium rare. And like, I've never done that. I don't like to be that customer. But come on, cuh.
Come on, go get my steak cooked right.
There was no red in that steak. Honestly, now that I'm looking at the steak doneness guide, if you click on my Discord stream, because I'm streaming OBS and Discord, I remember what that steak looked like. That was medium well. Like there was no red in that. They gave me medium well, and I asked for medium rare. I can pronounce my O's.
Rare. Medium well.
That is kind of
well
that actually is kind of funny. That sucks if like somebody that pronounces their R that can't pronounce their R's really likes medium rare and they've gotten medium well before.
That would be tough.
That sounds
Speaking
horrible.
of medium rare, I'm trying to eat dinner. It's almost 7. I
am
eat
freaking hungry. Do you think we wrap it up right here?
Yeah, we wrap it up and I go eat food. That's what happens.
Sick. Oh, also just a little side note. Yeah, like now that I'm looking at the steak doneness guide, that rare steak, nah, that's disgusting. I wanted a little bit less rare than that. You see that picture? Like I love the rareness in steaks, but yeah, a little bit less rare. But yeah, all this steak talk is making me hungry. But the Primetime Podcast is officially back.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know who else is officially back?
The San Francisco 49ers.
I dinner that's upstairs.
Whoa!
I'm gonna go cook.
Oh, you're gonna go cook dinner?
Yeah, well, I have some pasta that's up there that I'm gonna eat.
I'm probably gonna reheat my pizza from Sunday night.
All right. While we go reheat our pizza and pasta, thank you guys for tuning in to the podcast. Thank you for watching wherever you're watching from. We hope you have a splendid rest of your evening and the rest of your week and the rest of your wonderful, happy life. We're glad you joined us. Check us out at Primetime Podcast over there at 10:30. We do the Primetime pregame. That's at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time over on Twitch. That's on Sundays if you want to tune in and watch that. Chip tier list is also being uploaded tonight. Make sure you check that out. Actually, it's going to be yesterday because it's getting uploaded tomorrow. So, yeah, check it out. All right, see ya later.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Bye. Bye. Mwah.